These people are eating raw chicken, known as chicken sashimi. It usually consists of thinly sliced chicken breast meat, boiled and seared for about 10 seconds. You've been told all your life never to eat raw chicken, so how are these people able to do it? And what would happen to your body if you had some of this meat? Could you die from eating raw chicken? On today's episode, we're going to find out. This is your body on eating raw chicken. Known as torisashi in Japan, this chewy, slimy piece of meat is considered a delicacy by some. And really, who doesn't like chewing on rubbery, gel shoe insoles? After all, it would be great exercise for the jaw muscles. So what would happen if you ate some? Well, let's say you're the adventurous type and have decided to try torisashi. Or maybe you just accidentally ate some chicken that wasn't thoroughly cooked. What effect is it going to have on your body? Well, that depends on what pathogens, if any, are in your chicken. Immediately after eating, any sickness you may feel would likely be a figment of your imagination. The idea of having eaten raw chicken would cause your stomach to turn over. Of course, if you actually chose to eat raw chicken, you may just be feeling sated and satisfied. And proud that you weren't going to let some pesky little pathogens rule your life. However, by hour 6, you may start feeling the first symptoms of salmonellosis. Cramps in your stomach, nausea, vomiting, and headaches. Your temperature starts to rise and you'd suffer from a fever. And you'd best stay close to the toilet as diarrhea will have you heading there in no time. It might even be bloody.
It feels like I'm dying.
By hour 8, you'll still be sitting on the toilet. You might even have severe abdominal cramps. That's because salmonella isn't the only pathogen you have to worry about. In this case, you're suffering from Clostridium perfringens. Although this pathogen usually appears in cooked meat that is kept warm for a long time, it can also be found in raw chicken. The good thing about this pathogen is that, unpleasant as it is, it usually only lasts for about 24 hours. Still, it's 24 hours I wouldn't want to experience. So, one day later, you should start feeling better. 2 days have passed since you ate the raw chicken. You haven't felt any adverse effects. You've got nothing to worry about now, right? After all, if you were going to get sick, it would have happened by now. Well, not if the chicken was infected with Campylobacteriosis. If you have a Campylobacter infection, you won't start feeling the fever, cramps, nausea, vomiting, and diarrhea until 2 to 5 days after eating raw chicken. The diarrhea could be so bad and bloody that you might even suffer from dehydration as well. Okay, 4 days have passed now since you munched down on that chicken sashimi. If you were suffering from salmonella, you should start feeling better. Your temperature should be back to normal by now, and the cramps, headaches, and vomiting should be just about done. Ooh, finally. But maybe you're one of the lucky ones. It's now 6 days later and still no effects. Not like those suckers who've been vomiting all week. Oh no, where's the toilet? Salmonella can be tricky. Although it typically appears soon after ingestion, it can sometimes lay dormant for a while and not show its ugly side effects for as long as 6 days. Oh, it's been a very long week, but if you have a Campylobacter infection, the good news is that you should start feeling better now. It may still take a few days for it to be entirely out of your system, but you're definitely on the mend. Thankfully, most people don't suffer from long-term health problems caused by food poisoning. However, it can lead to severe complications, particularly with those who are very young, elderly, immune-compromised, or pregnant. Possible long-term effects include irritable bowel syndrome, reactive arthritis, and even neurological issues. But good thing you were able to avoid all that. You just had a couple of days on the toilet. You should be as good as new. So, what makes torisashi, or chicken sashimi, safe? Well, nothing really. Unlike the parasites in raw fish that are killed by freezing, salmonella is unaffected by cold, and chicken is more porous than beef and fish, allowing pathogens to penetrate deep into the meat. Restaurants serving the raw chicken dish will argue that the chickens they use are raised to the highest standard and are served as fresh as possible. In Japan, torisashi producers use a specific breed of chicken called shamo that is fed a particular diet including wasabi leaves, considered a natural antiseptic that kills salmonella. Still, that doesn't mean that the chicken can't come into contact with various bacteria. So, if you do decide to give raw chicken a try, be prepared for the possibility of getting really sick. And remember, if you do get sick, there's not much you can do to lessen its effects. You're just gonna have to ride it through to the end. Now, after watching this, you may no longer be interested in trying raw chicken, but what about eating nothing but McDonald's for an entire year? Would that be safer than torisashi? Well, we'll see what that challenge brings on another episode of Your Body On.